Hello, dear music maker, to you who have also found your purpose in this art form. I am grateful that you've landed here. You may not know me, but I'm just someone who has been doing this for quite a few years now. And what I want to share with you today is not a tale of personal success that will unintentionally make someone out there feel just a bit more inadequate. There is no triumphant point to be made, and no real moral to be taught, and no course to be sold. Rather, I want this to be something of a check-in of perspective for you, something validating and assuring and maybe even comforting. Something that even I myself can look back on in the time that I may need it to, because I know I will. That's how these things tend to ebb and flow. There's this place that exists, a place that I see many of my peers finding themselves in. I myself fall here too, more often than you might guess. So, imagine a narrow tunnel that stretches on as far as your eyes can see. It's lonely, it's desolate, and it's looming. You look ahead as far as you can possibly see, for there's the faintest glimmer of light in the distance. You almost think that you can make out some beautiful, magical, utopian world out there. You think, surely this is a beautiful place. I just have to keep walking forward towards the light and wait for myself to cross the distance and get there. I just have to wait and wait and wait. Waiting. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? It's so easy to feel like every day, every moment that you spend tirelessly working, learning, and yearning is some sort of temporary state. To an extent, that may be true. Realistically speaking, everything is temporary, but this, it's transitory. We're waiting for something, aren't we? There is nothing here yet. Here is what I want to challenge today, in you and in me. There's a non-zero chance that you've shared your creation online. Your whip, your single, your remix, your album, your baby that you've put your heart and soul and sweat and tears and every deep little nuance of your being into, only to feel as though no one cared. It appears as if maybe a handful of people liked it or took the time to listen. You took a chance. You took a chance. You casted your faith. But you were shown that it didn't really actually matter. And it is horrifically crushing. So you think to yourself, where I am, it isn't good enough. I'm not good enough yet. I just need this thing to work. I just need to push harder. And then it will all work out for me. And then I will have made it. And you cannot be happy or satisfied until that hypothetical moment. You cannot be proud until that moment. It doesn't really matter how many comments or plays your work receives. It doesn't matter how many lives you've touched, how many people that you've reached and inspired. Even if they never tell you that you did, you're still just walking down that tunnel. The next time that this happens, I challenge you and me to see things from another perspective. Maybe some of you watching won't be able to relate to this, but I think about back in the day, before streaming platforms and social media were really a thing. A majority of us grew up listening to our favorite bands, our favorite artists, and we kept their discography downloaded on our MP3 players and such. We had our favorite songs of theirs that we would keep on repeat, and maybe we even had songs that were almost like our friends during times of suffering. Maybe some of us were fortunate enough to be able to attend a live concert of one of our favorite bands. And maybe even some still had the extraordinary opportunity to greet them face to face and say, thank you. But think about how many of us didn't do that. We were just silent fans and listeners, phantoms. Besides the tangible numbers such as album sales, ticket sales, downloads, and the like, I would be surprised if any of those bands actually knew that we as individuals even existed. But we did. We were out there. We were fans. Their music meant something to us and kept us company in our daily lives. So, if you are a musician who's been putting in the work, doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this and sharing it with the world, I challenge you to believe that these people exist for you too, because you already exist to them. If just one person takes time out of whatever they were doing to write a kind comment on your latest post, your new release, anything, I want you to know that this person felt so compelled by what they just heard that they had to say something and make themselves known. You know how much courage that takes, and it's somehow so easy to take for granted. I think about how rarely even I find the courage to say something about others' art. And the undeniable truth is that for every one person who found that courage to thank you or support you, there have got to be many, many more that are cherishing your creation silently. You have to believe this. I think you owe it to yourself for the effort that you put in. And that is how I think you find the courage to keep doing it. Because the tunnel was never real. All you have to do is lift your focus from that light in the far distance and look around. So let's do it. Thank you.